I like the Chiesa argument because a lot of the Liverpool football fans are enamored by transfers. Like football, I am of the belief that some football fans enjoy transfer season more than the football.
So yes,
like,
that's true.
Like
and they don't seem to forget the amount in which
there's new toy syndrome. Like they want to have a new player all the time to be excited about. So Liverpool sell Luis Diaz, Liverpool sell Darwin Núñez, and then a lot of people say that, well, as part of the reinforcements Liverpool are getting into, they need to go and buy a winger. But I'm saying that you don't need to buy a winger because you have Federico Chiesa.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that, like most Italian players, there's a very high tendency for him to be homesick. Italian players almost never want to leave their country.
Yeah.
And so when you find a rare Italian player who ventures out of his country, they'll probably be around for 2-3 seasons tops, and they're gone back.
They're gone back. Yes.
Gianluca Scamacca is a very recent example of how Italian players behave when it comes to this. So there were a lot of reports about him wanting to go back.
Chelsea had to deal with Zappacosta. You remember him? Right back. Did 2 seasons with Chelsea. Went back to Atalanta.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it happens.
True.
It happens a lot. So I'm happy he started off the season like this because I want to believe that there's a very high chance that he and his agents are still exploring their options. I don't know if that means he's leaving, but I think he'll definitely be still exploring his options. I think Chiesa, if he's healthy, can definitely even be first choice for Liverpool on that left-hand side. Can he take that opportunity? Will Slot give it to him?
To be fair to him, his last 2 goals have been quite important. He scored in the EFL Cup final when he came on. He almost got Liverpool back in that. And this goal too. And I think I hearing him speak yesterday. It sounds more like he wants to stay because the narrative that come out throughout the whole window was very much like he's like you said, he's homesick. He wants to go back. I think if he's given assurances that he can play, because I think that's the main problem. I think him getting playing time, especially coming off that injury, because I think I'm recovering from an ACL. It's harder for some players, and some players are never the same players again. I think if you look at someone like Ansu Fati, I don't think he's ever fully recovered and been that player. But if he can get a good run of games, if he can get into good form, I think he's a very good player for Liverpool to keep.
But just quick word on Mohamed Salah, right? Yesterday, so he took his tally to 10 goals when it comes to opening day goals. Overtook Wayne Rooney, who had 9. And I think yesterday on Panorama we spoke about Salah doing this at age 33. Last season, Liverpool were heavily reliant on him. And Kwachi talks about Ekitike going on to be one of the best signings Liverpool have done. I think if he's able to continue like this, and today I listened to him speak to Jamie Carragher. A question was asked about the Bundesliga and the PL, and Ekitike said something really interesting, and that's so true. That in the PL you don't have a lot of time and space to do a second think. A second decision. It comes one time, you have to hit it. Compared to the Bundesliga where you have acres of space, take the ball, you can run at an opponent, do whatever you want to do. And so when he realized that, he had to drop deep and do a link-up play. And I think what if you remember, it led to, was it the first goal? The first goal, right? He was trying to not make the goal, the defender. It didn't happen. And so that's a smart player. If he's able to continue like this,
and it's similar to the EFL, the goal he scored in the Community Shield too, where he made the pass to run inside goal.
I think he takes some bit of that workload on Mohamed Salah, because I don't want Liverpool to be too reliant on Salah this season. I want the goal responsibilities to be shared. And yesterday, I think it was evident. 4 different goal scorers hitting the target for Liverpool. Cody Gakpo will need to step up this season, do way more better than he did last season. So I think Slot will be happy that at least he's got his front 4 or front 3 all starting or all getting on the score sheet, either scoring or assisting. If they're able to continue like this, I think Ekitike will be good. Let's not forget, they still got £200 million waiting, breathing in the fridge to splash on.
No, but that's a point I've seen people raise off. What does Isak coming do to Ekitike, given how well he's playing?
I think they can.
Do they move him to the left, or
he can actually? So look,
it actually gives lots a lot of options.
What I'm seeing from Hugo Ekitike is exciting, and I'm happy to be excited because I was not all the way convinced about how his game would translate to the Premier League. Still early days yet, but the early signs have been good. I like players who are flamboyant, but I also like players who are scrappers. Like you can get you can mix it up with people. You can have an elbow in your face and still be able to
make something happen out of nothing.
Mix it up with the rough guys, because one thing Premier League defenders specialize in doing is intimidating forwards.
But you know, and that's the point. I think he should bulk up a bit. Like, Charlie,
fair. It's a very fair.
It looks too skinny for me.
But I think
it helps with the swerving.
No, I think what I like that he thrives on his height.
Yeah,
he thrives on his height. He makes his height looks like he's got immense physique, but you get a point of
that's what I was getting. I think he might not come off as the strongest guy, but I think he's tough. And in football, I feel like sometimes you need more toughness than actual strength. And a good player who epitomized that for me was David Silva, and even Luka Modric when he played in the league.
Yes.
Like, not the biggest guy, but he could throw his weight about with just about anybody. And I feel like Ekitike has that kind of toughness, because that goal he scored, Marco Senesi was sleeping on the job. He just literally took the ball off his feet and finished it. It was not the cleanest type of finish, but it just tells me that he is ready to be on the necks of defenders, and that he will punish almost every little mistake that you make.
And I think also, if you look at the way he's playing, I'm hoping that when he's also out of form, he can still be helpful to the team. That's even when he's not finishing.
That's the most important part of his game. You don't have to rely on goals from a guy like that. I mean, purely. Yesterday he assisted and scored, and he's shown that his drop-off play is great. So meaning that he can play as a false nine, which I think he was doing yesterday. Because he was dropping in, going into the midfield, popping up.
What I mean. So even if Isak is still there, he can still be
I think they will be deadly together if Liverpool can make it happen. What they need to do is fix that midfield. Now, Ryan Gravenberch has been out of the starting lineup in both the Community Shield and then this one as well. I think they felt his absence immensely. The physicality is not been there. Playing McAllister and Szoboszlai together, just not been it for me.
And just speaking on that left side, seeing how it's quite early, but seeing how Verts played in midfield, I think there's an argument that he could be moved to that left side, so that when Gravenberch comes back into the team, it just rebalances the midfield with him and Szoboszlai.
So that would be what Gravenberch,
Szoboszlai,
sitting deep.
Szoboszlai
on the right, and then Viet on the
or McAllister and Szoboszlai, and then Verts on the left.
I mean, wow, that should be good. I'll upgrade the conversation from Liverpool in a bit, but one more thing to point out is that I was pretty I was very amused by the fullback performance. Kerkez and Frimpong, I don't think we were good on the day. Kerkez and Frimpong were blown by on multiple occasions.
Especially with Kerkez.
Yep.
Especially with him. I got cooked by
Semenyo. I want to believe it's because Iraola knows Kerkez very well. He's worked with him. The Bournemouth guys know him very well, and so they know what his weaknesses are. But yesterday was pretty alarming for me on how many times he got done. Frimpong same, and then he had to come off because I think he said he felt his hamstring, and so a lot to unpack by game week 1 for Liverpool.
But with the Frimpong situation, right? And I think I made this point yesterday that I don't think you get the best out of him when you play him as a right back. I really don't think so. I think to get the best out of Frimpong would be to have him as a right wing back. And I think eventually, as the season unfolds, if that slot wants to go with a back three, that's when we get to see Frimpong's true qualities, or what he can actually give to this Liverpool team. Because you watch him at Leverkusen, I chanced on his heat map. A lot of the damage he's done is always in the opponent's half. All right. If you have him, so more like if you want to play him as a right back, you're talking about that's more like a Trent. Still in there.
I mean, but even Trent could create from deep. But still, I get what you mean.
Because he's got a great vision, more passing and stuff. But with Frimpong, he would like to bump forward, get into the opponent's half, and then probably work in the crossbar. So I want to see what the situation will be with him on that slot, and then. I think he'll be decent. I mean, for your first game at Anfield, you'd be hoping that you impress the people who's trooped in to watch you. So probably that could have.
I'll confirm this, but I think Slaughter's even mentioned that he thinks he could deputize for Salah. Salah wasn't available.
If he leaves what he has.
No, it's true. He actually has said that. Let me get on to the Semenyo bit. And big shout outs to the Ghanaian international. The biggest decision he made this off-season was deciding that AFC Bournemouth was home and it was the place where he wanted to continue his football instead of making a jump to interested parties like Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. He could easily...
Oh, you forget United.
United as well. He could easily have been playing with Kudus Mohammed right now, but he signed a 5-year deal, and he started the season off with a bang. 2 goals, and like I said, the second goal already a goal of the season contender. The more impressive aspect of last night for me was that he scored those goals after he had been racially abused. Now, if you know how these type of things are, I would say that for most of us, the average Ghanaian who have lived most of our lives down here, we only know about racial abuse from a theory perspective or from a third party perspective. Most of us have not encountered direct racism, for somebody to look at you and talk down on you based on your skin color and where you come from. To be able to complete a game, to be able to go on and score twice, I think it's incredible mental fortitude. So and if you look at the frozen pictures of the incident, it was almost basically like he was trying to get an interaction or an understanding with the guy what his problem was. Like,
so I'll give you more to that. I chanced on a tweet from one of the Liverpool fans who was closer to the guy in the wheelchair. I mean, the one who racially abused Semenyo, and he said that. So when Semenyo turned, he asked the guy to repeat what he said, and the guy actually did.
Wow.
Repeated it. And you know what's funny about this whole thing? The player in the wheelchair, the supporter in the wheelchair actually was wearing a jersey with the no room for racism badge on it. And according to the tweet too, apparently he's been somebody who normally has this go with the referees, throws gums at referees. The gum he's chewed, takes it out and gives you some middle finger.
So a perpetual troublemaker.
Yes, and according to the account from the guy who posted is that he's been monitoring him for a while now. Semenyo came close to where he was seated, picks up the ball, and then you say whatever you want to say. But I want to give props to Semenyo. Look, he looked really calm.
Cool as ice.
Cool head. In fact, Andoni Raiola asked Semenyo if he was in the right state of mind to continue. And Semenyo said yes, he was. And that led to he scoring those 2 goals. That's a very, very good thing for him to do. Speaks about his character. Speaks about the mental toughness he's got. And you know, for Semenyo, I said this on today early on, that he comes, or he looks like, not even he looks, he's somebody who's more focused on his work, not in the headlines.
Very business-like.
Yes, not in the headlines for all the bad reasons. Every time you're talking about Semenyo, it's what he's done on the pitch. It's the kind of football he's played. Take a look at his time at Bristol City up until now. He's never in the news for the wrong reasons.
Never ever.
And yesterday could have changed that.
He could have decided to walk off.
Narrative about him.
Decided to.
He could have done anything. Go and look at the video again, right? When he turned, if you be somebody, it go take the ball, wax your head.
Like you're asking a guy like, guy, like what you talking? Like what?
Like say it again. It was more like, no, I don't hear you. Repeat them.
And
the guy did.
That's exactly what it was.
You see that thing? So look, it's. I think I enjoyed it, and that thing he did has actually attracted everybody to talk about him. Before we started the show,
his stock
I saw a tweet from Liverpool's captain Virgil van Dijk, giving him props for what he done. Gary Neville spoke highly of him. Jamie Carragher has spoken highly of him. Arne Slot spoke to him after the game. He's spoken highly of him because I think he handled the situation really well. He handled the situation really, really well. Anything Semenyo could have done anything to the player.
I think that's the whole point. Like, he's justified to have any reaction.
And for his manager Andoni Raiola to even ask him that, Champ, are you okay to play on? And says yes. Speaks about the mental toughness. And so it was good. Look, I've seen a statement from the PL condemning it. I've seen the statement from Liverpool. In fact, Bournemouth's captain Adam Smith described it as despicable.
Let me just give you a few quotes. So there you have. So Semenyo himself says, to my Bournemouth teammates who supported me in that moment, to the Liverpool players and fans who showed their true character, to the Premier League officials who handled it professionally, thank you. Football showed its best side when it mattered most. Scoring those 2 goals felt like speaking the only language that truly matters on the pitch. This is why I play. For moments like these. For my teammates, for everyone who believes in what the beautiful game can be. I don't think I can summarize the emotions of that moment any better than he himself has captured. Now, you spoke about Van Dijk. Now, Liverpool's captain Virgil van Dijk has also addressed the incident, and this is what he had to say, and I quote. He says, "The incident is a disgrace. The only thing we can do is deal with it by dealing with him personally and trying to educate the next generation. That is the only way to try and kick it out, in my opinion. I can't believe it. These things shouldn't happen, but unfortunately it does, and it's an absolute disgrace in my eyes." End quote. So that's Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk. And like you said, Semenyo's own captain addressed the situation. He said he was in complete shock when the incident happened, and that they are happy that as captains they managed to address the situation, and hopefully the young man involved will be rightfully punished.
I hear he could be handed a lifetime ban.
It deserves a lifetime ban. I mean, these things have no place in the game. And so, shout out to Antoine Semenyo, already the Premier League's top goal scorer. Just to put that on record, after game week one. Game week one is barely done. I mean, we are barely in game week one, but and you already see, he's the league's top scorer.
You see, the PL's quick reaction to the incident, right, is that in the first or the opening game of the season, the first 30 minutes had that incident happening. They don't want that to be dominating the headlines. They want a lot of football because look, it should have been about Semenyo when he equalized. Because in a way he equalized for Bournemouth at the time, he was all over on X. Everybody was talking about his performance. And people are even already asking if he can replicate the double figures he did for Bournemouth. Last season, he did
I think he can.
11 goals.
I think yesterday was the right time when the
six assists. And I think that, and that's why a lot of people tipped him as Ghana's best player in Europe. So look, I'm really happy with what he did.
Nice one there. Let's progress the conversation, and we can go ahead and share the full fixture list of games for this week in the Premier League. So game week one, off the campaign with a 4-2 win over AFC Bournemouth. Ghana's Antoine Semenyo gets in 2 goals on the day. Brilliant goals, well taken goals. Liverpool, on the other hand, had 4 different goal scorers. Let's talk about early kickoff from today and what happened in that particular game. It was a game between Aston Villa and Newcastle United, and already anybody watching can pick out a ton of talking points from that particular encounter. So it ended goalless. There was a red card in the game as well. As we off in that game, and Newcastle United, some way somehow, were still not able to take advantage. Let me see if we can get into some of the talking points in that game. So basically, Aston Villa missed out by a hair's breadth for the Champions League last campaign. I'm expecting that they will come in with some renewed hunger to be able to make that competition. But if today was anything to go by, I think a lot of questions need to be asked. Now, if you look at the lineup that they put out today, fairly uniform, very very close to what they had last season.
I think with the exception of
the goalkeeper.
7 in suspension.
So Bizot was imposed today. Minus that, everybody is a Villa guy. Rogers was in there. Tillema, Watkins, McGinn, Onana, Kamara. Everybody was in there. And then the curious side of Newcastle United. That's where things go curious. If you look at the lineup there, especially everybody who will like immediately zone in on their striker spot and see who was doing the action. So they had 4-3-3 action going. Very interesting. Harvey Barnes, Gordon, and then Anthony Ilanga. Anthony Ilanga, I'm a big fan still. So they had Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joelinton, the notorious 3, as always, in the middle. Then they had Livramento, Ben Shah, and then Trippier. So Newcastle United basically today played decent. The game was pretty boring, pretty uninspiring as well. But it was glaring what their deficiency was. They have a healthy, tall, deadly finisher who swears that he's played his last game for Newcastle United. I'm sure he was in an Airbnb somewhere, because the word is that he has even rented out the apartment that he had. And so that's the word. They say he's put up the property for rent. He's determined not to stay in Newcastle.
Isak
says that. See, I've seen players hide in airport bathrooms to try and get transferred. Shout out to Riyad.
You guys didn't do that.
No, actually, no. That was some funny stuff. Transfer deadline. It was really funny. Keylor Navas shed tears at the airport. Eventually, his deal broke down. He went back. Charlie, all kinds of drama.
And it's drama.
I completely forgot.
Charlie, when they cry.
Do you know? And then whenever I remember Enes Nyama's incident, I always remember the reports and the wording from the French press. They say the pen trembled. Basically, Chairman was shedding tears while he was trying to sign the contract. So, look, these things are funny, but Newcastle look to me like they could be in some big trouble if they don't sort out this striker situation ASAP. Mano, let me start off with you on that Newcastle tangent. What is the end solution to all of this drama? Because we're not seeing an end to it, and it's clear that on the pitch they need a forward.
Yeah, and they have one of the best forwards in the league, if not the best forward in the league, other than Haaland, and they are unable to play him based on the situation. I heard Eddie Howe speaking in the week. I mean, he said he takes his part of that relationship very seriously, as in the trust that they have and the way that he speaks. So it sounds like it's quite personal right now. And once it gets personal, that's why I start to get worried. But I think in terms of an end solution, I think they need to sit down. Mediation is the best way. They just need to sit down. They realize that they need a striker, and they don't need to sell him. He has 3 years left on his contract. He wants to leave, and I get that. Once he starts making these moves, it gets harder to keep a player at the club who doesn't want to be there, because that's one of the things managers speak about a lot now. I think even with Guardiola, even with Palmer and McAtee, there are a few of these younger players that he says you'd have liked to keep at the club, but once you say you don't want to be at the club, he thinks that it starts to affect the mentality of the other players at the club. But with this situation, unless they are willing to go out there and if they sell Isak for as much as they do, they might end up in the same situation that Barca were in when Barca sold Neymar, and they had to go and buy Coutinho and Dembele. And obviously Šeško is gone, but anyone you want to go and buy knows that you just took 150 million from a club, and they want at least 100 million.
That stuff is always hilarious to me. Like, what kind of pocket watching is that? Like, you put a valuation on your player. How much is Brentford asking for Johan Wissa? Because they been on his case.
I think they are asking for about 50. Getting close to 50.
How old is Johan Wissa? He's almost 30 years.
Yeah, he's
just about 28, 27.
Yeah, I think about 28. And I think he has a year left on his contract, which makes it harder to. But then you've seen players like, obviously Hazard was an exception, but you've seen players like Hazard go for 100 million left with the 1 year left on their contract.
Yeah.
And if you see how much Newcastle are trying to also get for Gay, because they turned down 61 million from Newcastle last year for Gay. And they still want about 50 million for him now, even though he has a year left on his contract. So, but I said, Isak has a lot of time left on his contract, and Newcastle don't have to sell him. And as good as he is in the World Cup here, I think he'd want to play.
Yeah.
And I think the reintegration, because players will get over these things. You saw it happen. I didn't think Tevez would get back into the Man City squad when he and Mancini had the fallout. But I think with these things, if you're just able to sit down and talk to the player. And like you said, they have a price that they want to sell him at. And
they should go and buy what's his name, Nicholas Jackson. They clearly need. They should go and buy.
You are trying to sell Nicholas Jackson so you can fund your other projects.
Chelsea they need million.
Oh, for Nicholas Jackson,
they can pay. They have money.
Come on,
yeah. Billie Jean gives you 15 goals
and then 10 yellow cards. You need to add that. He gives you 10 yellow cards. Takes more yellow cards than even centre back.
Well, you should see the quote from the word from Maresca today about Nicholas Jackson that. Look, the situation is clear.
Yeah.
He says Jackson can leave. Yeah. And I'm asking myself this question. Is Jackson and Maresca falling out?
No, Maresca has his players. He's done it with Sterling.
It brings me to this point. He's very, very blunt.
Very.
Doesn't sugarcoat anything.
He started when he came in. He said that those I want will be here. Yes. I don't want. They should go in the bush.
And I just remember that thing he did last season. That look, I just think that he's taking Jackson out of him.
No, but it's clear
because the last 2 games Chelsea played against Leverkusen and against AC Milan, he was not on the bench for these 2 games. And clearly, from Maresca, the plans with his strikers up front is Delap and João Pedro.
I mean, but he should come back because he played him in the Club World Cup. Was it just the Flamengo red card?
No, he played. Yes. So
the Flamengo game
when he came in, that's
to be honest, there's no bigger statement than buying Delap and buying Joao.
That's why what I'm saying is that at the Club World Cup, he was willing to integrate him into the squad.
No, but let me tell you why Maresca actually, I think, that lost faith in Jackson. You remember there was a game when Chelsea actually needed him. Went on and
he picked up a red card.
Yeah.
I think that's where the relationship broke down.
If not for Pedro Neto, I think it was against Brighton. That goal he scored that ensured Chelsea qualified for the Champions League. It would have been on Jackson's head.
I remember.
You get it. So I think that's where that marriage between Jackson and Maresca fell out. Because look, we can't have a striker that he can't give us an assurance that we can rely on you for you. So Newcastle should go and pay it and take the player. And Newcastle today, do you know who they brought on? Osula.
Osula, in the 90th.
One goal in 15 appearances last summer. He's unrefined.
No, but the thing is, for the price of Isak, and you've seen it with obviously Sheshko is a good prospect, as you said. Look, but you've seen it with the market. You are not at this time. You are not going to get a quality.
I'm not
striker.
even buying that because look, Newcastle had Champions League football in their back pocket. This is the worst performance in the transfer window I have seen from a Champions League level team.
They let a lot of players
with money to spend. Look, teams qualify for. Sometimes when teams are qualified for the Champions League, yes, they are getting the Champions League revenue, but they are panicking even about their foray into Europe because they don't have the money, and that Champions League revenue is going to end up coming back to pay for all their. Newcastle don't have money problems. They don't have any money. Yes, they need to balance out their books with PSR and all of that stuff, but.
They spent heavily. I think that's the point. When they came in the first year, they spent a lot of money on certain players,
which is fair.
Say 70 million on Tonali, on Botman.
You see, this is what I'm saying, that they should have done better planning before the season ended. Okay, we are selling Isak 150 million. If that's your price, sell Isak. If you want to spend 50 of that, replacing the front
they
line,
rejected a bid. The thing is, I don't think they are going to get 150 million from Liverpool at this time. I don't think Liverpool, given how much they spent on this, I don't think they.
It's clear that Newcastle actually missed Isak today. It's really clear.
In fact, that was the biggest takeaway from their game for me.
The stats are backing it, and per my observation from today's game, the last 6 games without Isak, Newcastle have never won. In the last 4, they've had 75 shots, an XG of 9.4, and they've struggled to win games without Isak. And today, if you look at the lineup, what's his name? Eddie Howe went with. He went with what? Harvey Barnes. He went with Anthony Gordon. And who? Anthony Ilanga. Charlie, these are players with
Harvey Barnes has fallen off for me. I used to be a big Harvey Barnes fan. I mean, not that, and this is not even too long ago, like a season or 2 ago. I've always felt like if he got a good number of games under his belt, he was always deadly. But he's just been getting injured so many times, he's become unreliable. Look, I mean, this is a chance for somebody to step into that Isak void and make it theirs.
When Tonali gets the ball, right, or Barnes gets the ball, even Ilanga, they did this on several occasions. They're whipping the cross, expecting that a diminutive Anthony Gordon makes himself an avenger or a superhuman in the box. Like, I don't know, more like they've still not recovered or still not come to terms that there isn't Isak there. Somebody who will fight for those very, very difficult things in the box. And clearly they missed him. They missed him the entire time.
The one thing people don't know about Isak is that, look, you said Isak, you were talking about Isak and Haaland, you're comparing. I think that, I know it's almost ridiculous when you're talking about strikers to say forget about numbers, but I've always said it, and I said it 3 years ago, I said it 2 years ago, I'll say it now. Isak, Haaland, I'm taking Isak twice today, next week, and next year. Every time I'm taking Isak. He's the better footballer, he's the better technician, he's better tactically. And Isak, look, Haaland needs you to do work for him so he can be at the end of the play.
Yes, I was just
Isak can
about to highlight that point
out of nothing. Isak can pull a rabbit out of the hat. He can have his back to the goal, go behind 3 or 4 players and strike from distance. Like, that's the kind of player Liverpool will be getting. And Ekitike also looks like he has a lot of that in the bag. So imagine having 2 6'4" type strikers who can do it all.
No, it's more.
No, but to be fair, I think Haaland can pull a few rabbits out of his hat with his finishing. Because sometimes you just need to get the ball to him.
But that's the problem. You see, he needs to be in a certain zone. Isak, you can stick Isak on the left wing, and he can decently be a left winger for you. You can bring him into a shadow striker role, he can do it. You can target man him. Like, you can literally do a lot of things with him.
But you know what? Haaland is more like your fox in the box.
Yeah, but they wouldn't you out the box. It's almost like tactically, you can almost like exclude your forward and just work around your whole team. Because once you get to the forward, it's a goal.
Top of my head, right? I can't recall maybe 10 games I say that Haaland picks the ball from center circle trying to probably.
He doesn't have that in him, like the Semenyo goal from yesterday.
Yeah, I
cannot do it. First of all, his pace will even he'll get caught midway before he gets to the box. he has long legs. He's athletic, but he's not as quick.
Good.
So but he can outmuscle the player and then.
What does that?
So today it was telling in Newcastle's gameplay because I could tell on several occasions that you find Nick Pope trying to hit a long ball. So maybe it's Isak probably dropping deep.
Yeah.
Makes himself big. Who is running? There's Harvey Barnes or there's Ilanga going. He takes the ball on either left or right.
Yeah.
Now begins to run and wait for the arrival of the ball from either Barnes or Ilanga. And clearly today they were trying to do that with Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon against Tyrone Mings.
Yeah,
and Ezri Konsa, who is winning this? The only battle Gordon won was the red card. Because he beat Konza with pace, and then Konza pulled him, and he's the last man. Obviously, attract a red card. That was the early battle. What's his name? Gordon won. There was another chance where there was a low pass whipped in from Elanga. Gordon just traps the ball. He's looking to make his physical presence felt in the box, but you can't do that against Mings again. So I think Newcastle really missed Isak, and like Kwachi said, look, they should settle their differences. You can't play the football. If Liverpool will pay, that should happen.
I think
we'll see what will happen.
Look, some of these things.
What's Liverpool?
Liverpool
how much is Liverpool taking now? 130, right?
No, they sent 110.
110.
I think Newcastle can stretch Liverpool to about 120 million.
Oh no, but I don't think they'll take 120.
No,
they want 150.
The reports are that yes, Newcastle's valuation of the player is.
That's my point.
140 million.
Liverpool are not going to match your valuation.
You said 27 goals in all competitions. They've given you 23 alone in the PL. 6 assists.
Look, I think that as for the valuation, Newcastle are justified to ask for how much they want.
And I don't think Liverpool are willing to pay that.
Because they are the ones
to it.
Where does that leave the player?
Yeah, that's so. It's not happening this summer, so he just has to now go and play.
So, and does his value dip?
No, because in a year's time, his value actually should go down, because now he has 2 years left on his contract. If he has another good season, and then obviously he might have other suitors other than Liverpool. And Liverpool also depends on if Newcastle, but they have to. They will reduce their asking price in a year's time.
Let's talk about the 2 p.m. batch of matches that are on now. Let's zone in on that game between Spurs and Burnley. Let's see if we can give you an idea of who's featuring in this game in terms of lineups. So we'll try and display the lineups. It's almost halftime in this one, but we just want to give you a sense of who is in action. Most importantly, Kudus Mohammed of Ghana obviously is right in the thick of things with this one. He has already registered his first assist for the season. He provided that cross that resulted in the Richarlison goal. So it's 1-0 advantage Spurs. It's also a new era for Spurs under Thomas Frank. They've got a rude awakening of what life is at the elite level during the Super League, the Super Cup against PSG. It was crazy. So yes, we have the lineups on the screen there. So Spurs have Vicario in post for this one. Porro, Romero, Van der Ven. They have Spence, Sarr, Bergval, Kudus, and then Richarlison in the mix in that particular order. And then that's how it's played out. Burnley, most notable name out there for Burnley for me is Kyle Walker. He was in the mix of the battle when Kudus scored that goal. He muzzled him a couple of times before crossing that ball. So Kyle Walker in that mix here. So Burnley have Dubravka, Son, Walker, Ekdal, and Maxime Esteve. Kolindici Hartman, very interesting. That's left wing back. So that's one of the acquisitions they've made this season. Medri, Cullen, Lauren, Anthony, and Foster. Let me stay with you on the Spurs journey. Bottling that Super Cup game. I saw one of the PSG players, I think it was Gonzalo Ramos Desiree. Someone did the choke sign, the Reggie Miller choke sign from the NBA on just trying to just basically representing what had happened to Spurs. But really, rude awakening for them. If anything, would give them an indication of what kind of season they were getting into, that was it.
That would be Thomas Frank's first taste of European football. What's to come in?
Really mean.
I mean, he can't run away from it. Today I was looking at his stats. I mean, the teams he's coached, Brøndby and Brentford.
Oh no, yeah. I'm just saying it's like just a really cruel. Like he'll never have a first experience of European football again. That will always be.
So look, they have to embrace it, and a large chunk of the Spurs players, it would be a first test of European football.
Yeah.
I was quickly digging up into Kudus's numbers. In the 2022-2023 season with Ajax, he did 11 goals. 2023-24 with West Ham United, his first season, he did 8 goals.
So
5 assists. Yes.
5, okay.
2024-2025, second season with West Ham, he did 5 goals, 3 assists. And so somebody would say,
which was last season.
Yes, last season. The goals are
drying up.
Look,
that's actually a very interesting observation.
I expect Kudus to
11-8-5.
Yes, I expect Kudus to stepping up in the sense that he needs to put in that shift again with what we saw at Ajax. He needs to do it. And funny enough, Kudus has actually played in the Champions League. There was one auditioning at Anfield.
Yep,
right?
Remember. Banged Liverpool.
That was a very good performance. And so he has a fair idea of how to play in Europe.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be one of the experienced heads when it comes to players who've played in Europe or in the Champions League, leading the Spurs line. Somebody told me something that, look, the Spurs team is not even really looking, I don't want to say attractive, but in the past, when you want to mention players like Harry Kane, players like Heung-min Son, this time around you have to be dealing with.
When I was watching him during the Super Cup,
you have to it's Pedro Porro, Jet Spence. Jet Spence was purchased by Antonio Conte.
Charlie, do you know? In fact, Spurs have really fallen off. Back then, Spurs used to have Gareth Bale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Raphael van der Vaart.
Like they are dealing with
Luka Modric. Like they had players.
They are dealing with
like they had
this
Roman Pavlyuchenko.
This is not to like denigrate or it's no disrespect to the players, but I'm looking at the golfing class or the quality that has dropped a bit.
Yeah.
And for Kudus, he has to step up this season.
Yeah.
He has to step up for Spurs this season. Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
What I saw with him in that final in the UEFA Super Cup just gave me a reminder of what actually that Brentford team was like under them. They could actually take some good leads, hold on to the lead for a minute, and then crumble at the end. Brentford were doing that a lot last season. And with this, I think that the players he's dealing with Spurs now, if you want to compare with Brentford, it's a step higher. And so he would have to be dealing with things very, very sensibly.
In fact, I like that point because, like you're rightly saying, the spotlight is way bigger.
Yes,
you are getting a bigger salary.
When
your stadium is bigger now.
when Postecoglou says that defeat in the UEFA Super Cup, you know what he'll be saying?
Yeah,
he German would laugh.
Of course,
it's revelation for him.
Yes, because now I'm sure he'll be praying that Spurs, maybe he would want to be the devil's advocate. That Spurs don't even do well in the Champions League, and this is just on the lighter note. Because look, the tangibles, what's there to show? He gave you what? The Europa Cup.
But but just on that point, they've made that trade. Obviously, Postecoglou has shown them that he's capable of winning finals, but they are saying now they want consistency and a style of football.
Good. And to even buttress that point, their chairman said it. Daniel Levy said it. That they were happy with what Spurs had done with Postecoglou, leaving them with the Europa Cup. And with the league position 15th or what was 17th, right? 17th. It wasn't the best of positions, so they had to take a decision.
They lost for 22 games.
Yes, because
that's just
what the performance of the players actually reflected what they did
in the league.
Yes, and that's why they had to part ways with.
Ridiculous.
So for Thomas Frank, there's no honeymoon for him. He has to hit the ground running. He has no choice. He has to do it.
But I think it's worth pointing out that I think Ange made a sacrifice. I think at some point he just realized that I don't really care about these league matches. He was just playing kids and he was just saving his players for the
and to be honest,
league.
look, that Europa League trophy is something you always hold in your cabinet. It's something that will always be on your resume, and it's something somebody will hire you because of. And so, for me, yeah, he might have lost out on the Spurs job.
Yeah, he actually upgrades his CV.
I think Postecoglou will be just fine. Let me just touch on Kudus a little, and I'm a little happy with some of the things he said coming into the season since he signed for Spurs, because I remember just before the season ended, he was interviewed and he made a very curious point about how he didn't care how people perceived his game, and that he wasn't going to change his game for anybody.
Interview.
And I thought that was a very shallow statement to make. But fast forward, under a manager like Thomas Frank, who is a taskmaster, you obviously are going to have to do a lot of running off the ball. You're going to have to be a better team player. And I've heard him say things like he is ready to embrace the off the ball effort. He's ready to be more of a team player. So in just about 3 months, that's a pretty decent mentality shift that I think will only help to make him a better player.
But you can't be in Thomas Frank's team and not work hard.
Exactly.
Look at the players he's got. Even with Brian Mbeumo, who did 20 goals.
In fact, those are
when Brentford were without the ball, they were always working hard
and
tracking back to come and help.
And you see, players don't see it that way, but I feel like work ethic will reflect in your numbers.
Yeah.
And Mbeumo's work ethic reflects in his goals and assists. So when he's not scoring, he's definitely assisting, he's tackling, he's intercepting, he's always getting involved in some significant statistic that does well in the statistics column. So I'm happy with how Spurs have shopped. I think they feel like they need a few more players. They definitely don't need a few more offensive players.
Is Richarlison the player they're going to rely on?
It looks like it.
With the injury to Maddison, you don't think like Eze could make sense?
I think they need to bring in. I like Eze for a reason. I mean, I wouldn't go buy a striker or a specific winger, but I like Eze because Eze is very flexible. You can play Eze on both flanks. You can play him centrally. You can play him as an attacking midfielder, and even as a false nine a little bit. So he can cover a lot of problems for you. He can solve a lot of if you can get your hands on him. The problem is that they are apparently in a battle with rivals Arsenal for Eze, because Eze also apparently interests Arsenal in the same way he interests Spurs, and so it will be very interesting to see where he ends. But I've been around Eberechi Eze news enough to know that he might end up staying.
I think he's out of the squad. I think it's been said that he's out of the squad for the weekend.
So that'll be confirmed tomorrow. They play Chelsea tomorrow.
Then it looks like they want to accelerate.
If he's not in that squad, then it means that he's on a bus or a train or whatever it is to Spurs.
Probably trying to accelerate
somewhere to North London.
From down south to up north. Yeah, pretty long journey, but he can make it.
I'm a bit worried for Spurs though. Because the Richarlison, that's what I'm asking. Are they going to rely on Richarlison?
Yeah, because it's interesting to know that he hasn't started with Solanke in both games.
They are dealing with a player who is very inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't fancy Solanke for most part, really.
They spent 60 million on him though, and
I thought they were crazy. Because I'm like, why are you spending 60 million pounds on Dominic Solanke? That was ridiculous for me. And this is the thing I keep saying about English teams. And look, I like Daniel Levy. I think Daniel Levy is probably one of the more financially shrewd businessmen in the Premier League. But some of those decisions also come back and baffle me. I'm like, I feel like you're smart, but why are you doing this? Because Solanke is not a 60 million striker. Yeah. Solanke is at most a 40 million striker.
25 cents.
At most, like, you know, and I mean,
no, but it's the same thing. I think Chelsea and Liverpool started this thing when they sold him between each other for and they sold Bruce, they sold Ryan Brewster to Sheffield for 20 million.
They fleeced them. That was fleecing. Like, I remember Sheffield bought Ryan Brewster for 20 something. I'm like, are they crazy? Look, I am all for, and that's why a lot of these things run into trouble. When you are a Sheffield United, when you are a Crystal Palace, you don't buy players for that amount if they are not star caliber players and you don't have a clear-cut plan for. I keep talking about this guy. Palace purchased a young Brazilian by name Mateus Franca for 25 million plus pounds. I don't think he's played 30 games for them in like 3 years. That's ridiculous. Crystal Palace,
same with Fabio Silva.
Crystal Palace barely ever spend that kind of money on a player, but when they do, I expect them to get maximum juice out of the player. The player has barely seen the pitch. I don't know if he can speak English. I don't know if no value. I don't understand. So it's just one of those things for me. I don't think Spurs. I don't think that Solanke money is money well spent at all. In how many? In fact, let me pull up. Let me see if I can.
I think his numbers were okay last season.
Let me bring up his numbers.
Well, Ben, I think there's a bit of an update.
Okay,
in regards to the Semenyo incident. So it says the Athletic is reporting that a man has been arrested after Anton Semenyo reported racist abuse from the stands during Liverpool's Premier League game with Bournemouth on Friday night. Yeah, so probably would be
an arrest has been made.
Yes, our chairman. The chairman in there.
So Solanke's numbers from last season in the PL: 27 matches played, 9 goals, 3 assists. Decent, but probably one of the reasons why
that's 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know, man. Probably Son was the bigger disappointment last season, but that money spent on Solanke definitely could have gone around, could have done a lot more.
Our good friend
for the team.
Susu Graham it says, please, if Mbemo can go for £70 million because of 20 goals, Solanke can go for 60 after 19 goals. Why?
No, fair. It's to be honest, it's a fair argument. But I'm just saying that if you are Daniel Levy and you are not a team that's like sure money to play in Europe every season, spending that kind of money is kind of ridiculous to me, because you want to run a sustainable business model, especially these days where PSR has become a lot more stricter and the Premier League is like trying to tighten its financial regulations. I just don't think that spending that kind of money makes any type of sense. So I don't know, man. It's a little crazy for me, but anyway, that's the lowdown on Spurs. They are currently up 1-0. Richarlison up by Richarlison got the goal. Kudus got the assist. And you were asking if Richarlison is.
I'm looking at Spurs as
the guy to sustain you throughout the season.
Options, right, on the bench. They've got Wilson Odobet, Matthias Tell. I think he was also racially abusing after that loss when he missed the penalty. And Solanke. Look, if you want to combine the goals these 3 players have scored last season, so I'm looking at Solanke and Matthias Tell. They don't even have 30 goals. They don't. Spurs would have to deal with Champions League football, the PL. I think top 4 they have to be in there. Top 6, top 4, top 6 they have to be in there. Carabao Cup, FA Cup, they have to compete. If they can win it, I don't know. And you would have to be relying on Solanke and Matthias Tell. I've not seen them linked to any other striker. I think the conversation in the last few weeks has been the Savinho stuff.
Actually,
and
I think they're trying to buy too many forwards. I'm not convinced by their defense. So
I think they tried to get Gibbs White, and because they didn't get Gibbs White, I think they're trying to find a different alternative to that. And again, the injury to Maddison, because now he has a long-term injury, and if in terms of creativity within the team, they have Paulinho, who's going to be good defensively, but in terms of creativity within the team, I don't think they have as many options.
So that's.
But I think in midfield he's being Archie Gray and Lucas Bergwall.
Yeah, he's gone with Bergwall, Gray, and
they spent a ton of money on Archie Gray as well.
And they ended up paying him centre back. But these are young players. Last season, because of because of the injury crisis, they were just played anywhere, and obviously because now it seems like they are more mature. But I still think you need to realize that they're still young players who are still developing, and you can't rely on them every game for consistency throughout the season.
Well, it's
actually a funny situation, right? Yeah. I'm just thinking about something. Let's try and look at Harry Kane's time with Spurs, and if we just want to swap things a bit, the kind of form, I don't want to say form, or what the Spurs would have to be dealing with this season, and juxtaposing it with the talents they've got in terms of the attacking talents they've got. Spurs are playing in Europe. If Harry Kane were to be with Spurs in the current situation, I think this is actually an opportunity he relishes. He look at this opportunity, especially with another manager who I think, that's Thomas Frank, sometimes can't be pragmatic. I think that we probably would have seen a very, very good blend of what Harry Kane will be doing with Thomas Frank. But it's just unfortunate that they have to be dealing with strikers like Dominic Solanke and Matthias Tell. So it's an unfortunate situation. But I'm sure that Thomas Frank should be pushing for another experienced striker. Look, to be honest, I don't think that Spurs can rely on these players. I don't think so. Richarlison is not a consistent player for you. For me, he doesn't give you 25 goals in all competitions.
Nope.
He doesn't.
That would be an exceptional season for me.
I think Richarlison's best numbers have been, the last time I checked, has been 12. He doesn't give you.
I think they are banking on Kudus to give them 10 plus.
Kudus can't do it all. If Kudus is doing 10 goals, you have another player who is also doing
10,
maybe 10, 15.
Yeah.
That's shared responsibility in terms of getting the goals. Then you can say, okay, we can give it a push.
Yeah.
Because I think Spurs would have to prioritize either the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. I don't see them do anything in the Champions League, anything miraculous, anything big in the Champions League. I think as far as they can go would probably be a round of 16 or something of that sort. And now, with the Champions League new format, you have to be dealing with a lot of games.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, you've played about 55 to 56 games in all competitions.
Yeah.
Players would well. So look, for Spurs, Thomas Frank should be pushing for more talent, for more I think signings in terms of attacking talent, and I think it would work.
Well, Coach Christopher Nimley has just joined us in the studio, and the good part is that one of his players is playing.
These days. Baleba is starting.
What player is he?
But the person is starting.
You see, he can start for them.
But we've not seen any productive updates from.
No. Let me tell you something.
You chat with what's his name? Your single digits billionaire.
At the end of the day, he will come home. From according to info from source. I think the two teams had a very fruitful conversation, and Brighton was of the view that he's a player they will sell, but they just don't think they want to sell him now. And from the way we have behaved, when I say we, I mean Manchester United, the manner in which we've gone about the thing, the way we've respected them, it's just a matter of he may not come home this season, but definitely, if the young boy still fit, nobody competes with us. We've told them already. So there's that relationship. And I know next season, if they decide to sell, which of course, the boy has been given full assurance that not this year, play your football, next year will bless you.
Coach, let me bust your bubble real quick. What if Liverpool?
None of them can compete with us.
So the way he's playing, let's say, because Liverpool did need a DM.
Nobody can compete with us.
Financially or good?
Financially, of course.
But there's cash. We there's cash. You are the old. You are the old. There's cash. We are the new. There's cash.
There's cash in terms of matching. How much Brighton
the asking price?
You will match. We will go toe to toe. That's whether you sacrifice. We will give him 200,000 pounds. Fair. That is where the difference will come. We say we'll give 200,000 pounds.
There is precedent. How many months did it take you to sign Brian Mbeumo? You went with 60 million pounds
because the player had told the whole world that it is United or nobody. So we thought that.
It's easier to sign.
We can delay and then bring down the price. Like Sesko. Once Sesko told us that it was United, we will bet if and only if the player. The reason why Man United formally approached Brighton was because the player had agreed that if you can agree with them, I would like to come and play for you.
Yeah.
That's the way United, even not only United, Liverpool, the big teams, that is the way they do their thing. If you see them show up, that coming to talk with the team of the player they want to buy, then they might have gotten the encouragement from the players, and that is why you go to the player. This is what we want to come to do, or this is what we intend to do. Do you want to be? Should we go ahead? They say yes. If they say yes, we should go ahead. Then of course, then you go ahead. So the point I'm making is that no two ways about that. He's a player that if United were to get today, will pay the money. So he's not a Man United player, not because United can't afford it all. It's because the selling club says, I am not ready to sell. That is why he's not the player. But we had gone to them and said that you name your price, we'll pay. And they said, no, we don't want to sell now. So, okay, we respect your decision of not ready to sell now. But please keep us informed. As the first genuine interested club when you decide to sell. We will live to see who will show up and come and compete with X next season for him.
Nice one there. We're just talking about Kudus before you took your seat. He's provided his first assist of the season already. Cross to Richarlison that was well converted. Tottenham lead 1-0 against Burnley. So Kudus is playing on the right hand side.
But today we are not seeing goals, crowd.
Yeah, today's games have been
Brighton goalless, Sunderland goalless,
which is disappointing because of how yesterday played out.
Yes,
there was
very explosive.
6 goals yesterday. So I thought it was going to be more.
It'd be the Villa Newcastle people.
Yeah, that game was.
Because you were that game.
Yeah, I did.
It was
really boring.
Anyway, just snap thoughts on Kudus in his new environment. Your expectations for him, how he started off hitting the ground running with an assist and all of that.
You see, like Kudus, he also told the whole world, "It's Tottenham I want. I don't want any other team."
Mm-hmm.
So West Ham was forced to sell him at that price. If Kudus had opened the door for more suitors, West Ham would have made more money. No two ways about that. But having said that, I think, look, he's a new challenger. He's been given a Champions League platform.
Mm-hmm.
For the fact that the coach sanctioned the move, it means he's in the coach's plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what he can do to help his cause is to do what he has just done.
Yeah.
Not only today, but he needs to make sure that becomes the norm. And as a player who plays for a team like Spurs, if you look at the amount of money they have spent, yes, I agree 100% with Gabi where he said, yes, they have spent some good money, but I still do believe that they need a bit more firepower. But at the end of the day, if you look in the market, where are the firepowers? Naturally,
the fire is all finished on the market.
Exactly, it's a dying area where you have to look.
You have to take a chance on somebody.
Exactly. But as to whether that person is in, and at this level, what the teams don't really want to do is to gamble. Every transfer in itself is a risk. So if you are not that sure, you don't want to commit yourself to it. Prior to this market, we all knew that the strikers
penalty.
Okay, so let me just interrupt Coach for a bit. Coach, hold your thoughts. I'll come to you in a bit. So we have a penalty in the Brighton and Hove Albion versus
I think he dived though.
The referee
No, there was a touch.
The referee, I think it was Jorginho Rota who was brought down. The referee looks like he's consulting. He's doing a little consulting with his officials and who what have you, just to ascertain that this is a penalty he can take. It looks like a very I don't know, man.
I won't give them. But at the end of the day, you see, it was a tangle of.
No, but you see, Rata has the ball. It's his left side.
At the end of the day, they are running, and then the other guy's legs happen to go in between.
That's on the back.
I think he's giving it because
it's one of those ones he's given and he can't now not give it.
Ben, I think the player himself is not smart. He started chasing Ratas from before he got into the box.
You
don't do that.
Him off balance.
Yeah.
So once he got into the box and he took a touch,
they always give the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. Yep. In a situation like it's just a very. But I think the striker was smart.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying.
I think the game itself is crying for something like that.
Yeah.
One of them will have to
score to open up the game.
Yeah, at least break up the virginity of the game so that we can see some open play. Because if you look at what we saw yesterday, this is completely different from the quality.
Talking about Brighton, they extended Ghana's Tariq Lamptey by a year. I believe he should be on the bench somewhere. But let's
he's out. He's injured.
Let's keep an eye on the penalty, and it's finished coolly, very coolly done. O'Reilly, the central midfielder, I think they brought him in last season for some decent money, converting that penalty very sweetly there. So Brighton and Hove Albion lead Fulham by a goal to nil. 54 minutes played. The Amex has seen its first Premier League.
You know the beauty of it. Anytime I see Baleba, I'm happy. I see him as a future Man United player. Two ways about it. I see him as a future Man United.
He will probably wear red. It might just be it might not be the United red.
Let me see. We want to throw the challenge to anybody. Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, anybody who thinks Brighton we are ready to sell. Let's go and compete. Let's see who wins.
Hold your horses there. Let's take a quick.
Let's see who wins.
They don't give me this.
No. I'm a Baleba. I've already said that I'm a Baleba.
I like that tune. Actually.
Exactly. I'm a Baleba. I believe in Baleba. At the end of the day, like I've said, he's not a United player. Yeah. Not because United cannot pay the money, but because Brighton are saying, we beg you people, please, we are not ready. And it is within their right to decide whether they will sell or not to sell.
Yeah.
You can't force them to sell. The player, did the player tell them he wants to leave? He told them that if you can negotiate, I want to go and play for them. But they say, okay, you wait, let's play this season. But we know he will cost over £100 million.
But you are ready.
We are actually.
You are listening to the Republic of Football, live on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into more of the 2 p.m. matches. We'll look ahead to the last game for the Premier League, and then we'll get into some Spanish La Liga action as well. That is also kicking off this weekend. Stay with us here shortly. We'll be right back. Six 996 0549 986 996. We have another goal in that Tottenham Hotspur game. It's Richarlison again.
Richarlison, the listening show.
Richarlison heard you talking about him and say, can he be the guy to lead Spurs this season and attack? Well, he has answered the bell twice already, and the game has barely seen 60 minutes. So 2-0. Spurs are out. Look at his teammate. Look at Salah should be restrained. The guy can't play after you keep hitting him on the head like that. Coach, just now thoughts on the Spurs goal that has been scored, and we're just talking about them a little earlier on the defensive side.
I think you have to credit the Ghanaian again. Absolutely brilliant. For once, the young man believed in his right foot, because normally
the first assist was from his right foot.
Now look at it. So he received the ball here. The defender thought he would go on his left foot.
Gadio.
And then look at the finish. Absolutely.
But those are like two of the same. So the second goal is an upgrade of the first goal.
Absolutely.
And it was also Kudus to Richarlison twice.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely brilliant.
That's why Salah was beating him on the head. Like, how dare you do that?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's a proper goal.
Charlie, you see the Guardiola? I used to do that when I was
about to say, look yourself over
so it's like to Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Richarlison is the main man, not Solanke. Because if you look at the way he's been doing his thing, he's preferred Richarlison because. Look, but this is a brilliant goal.
It is a brilliant
proper goal.
It reminds me of Richard, the way he's looking. He looks like how he played at the World Cup. And if you remember, he scored a goal at the World Cup as well.
He scored a similar goal.
He's a very streaky striker. Like, he can go on very, like a 15-10 game run where he does almost everything right, and then he can go like 20 games where you forget if he's even a striker. Like, he can't buy a goal.
One thing about him is that if he plays regularly, he's one of those players that need more playing time to believe in himself and build a rhythm and then follow through with that. But look, let's credit more Kudus. I think in your first official game, 2 assists is absolutely brilliant.
All with his weaker foot.
All with his weaker foot. So to me, I think that is what it is, and so far it's been absolutely brilliant from the Ghanaian.
So just quick word on Kudus, right? I remember this press conference from Thomas Frank. A question was asked that what should we expect, or what role does he think Kudus would flourish in? And I like the answer from him, because he said that he's a player that has this unpredictability about him. He gives you a lot of options, and I think with where Thomas is playing him this season, that's on the right, right? He gets to cut in on his left foot. I think that's where we'll see him more this season. I think that's where he will cause a lot of damage for
inside forward.
Yes, inside forward. I think it makes him more
in this game. He's actually even hugging the line. He's not coming inside.
Yes,
because he's staying out wide and crossing. Yeah, which is not something I thought Kudus liked.
Or sometimes even doing the half spaces. Yeah, like what we see Palmer do. Yeah, he's not more closer to the end. Very wide. He's very closer to Richarlison, and I think it's a smart move from Thomas Frank. I hope that it continues like this, and I like the approach from Spurs. Take advantage of Burnley, one of the newly promoted sides. They're not too settled in the PL. Take advantage of them. They're playing at home too. You'd want to start right, and that's a very good start from Spurs. I like it. On the side of the Ghanaian things, you want to see more of this. 2 assists already for him. Now he has to get on the goal scoring chart.
You're asking for so much.
Because he can't run away from it.
No, but
he can't.
If you look at where he's playing, naturally per his position in the system, he's not. His fundamental responsibility is to feed the central attacking players. As at when the chance presents itself, then he can take it away. Yeah. But if you find yourself out wide, I think your fundamental responsibility,
do that.
Fancy yourself against the left fullback or against the fullback. Go one. See, this is very simple. So if you are a young player out there and you are watching or you are listening, if you are the sort of player that believes that has the quality to play out wide, when you pick that ball, it is a 1v1 situation most often. Raise your head though, because at times tactically what most defending team will do is that with the moment they sense it's a 1v1, then they tend to provide a defensive cover for their defender. So if you see, like in the case of Mo Kudus, when he raised his head, he realized that there was no defensive cover. So it means that once he's able to go past the fullback, it's advantage Kudus. If he can pick up the pass, it's in the back of the net. And that was a sumptuous, proper delivery. When he used his right foot, I didn't think he was going to pick the pass, but already
the first assist with his right as well, same type of cross.
Exactly. The quality of the player has never been in doubt. His ability to see when the opportunity is not even there is what makes you a good player. And in your first official game, 2 assists. I think he's beginning to establish a certain chemistry with Richarlison. This is what we didn't see in his West Ham days. In his West Ham days, even when he played,
especially the second
most
season,
often than that, he was always thinking about cutting onto his left foot and then shooting at goal.
I would say, like, it looks like he's taking there's less responsibility on him in the Spurs team. It looks like he's trusting the other players more. In West Ham, it felt like he was trying to do a lot
all by himself.
Yeah,
of
when
course.
he gets the ball.
Of
and
course.
now he's,
I think West Ham, he dropped really deep sometimes.
Very. Now he's. I was literally pointing out that, like Coach rightly mentioned, he prefers to cut
pass
onto his foot.
Johnson.
We have a look at Brennan Johnson. Wait, I need to see that through pass again.
So the pass be sweet.
Spurs are up by 3-0 against Burnley. I'm sure Daniel Levy is saying yes. It's good I fired Postecoglou. Anyway, but that's what we are seeing right now. The Kyle Walker is telling off his fellow defenders, but I need to see that replay again. Yeah, so let's do
in the build up.
Oh, so Richarlison, I don't think that's a foul at all. I don't think that's a foul at all. And the referee was right. He was right on the spot when it happened. I think arms might have been flailing a little, but that's not a foul at all. Look at Mohamed Kudus running into the box, hoping the ball would for him. But Brennan Johnson finishing that really well. 3-0 advantage Spurs. Gabby, is this a surprising scoreline for you?
I'm not surprised, especially with Brennan Johnson getting the third goal. You know, last season he was Spurs' I think best player. In terms of one of the players they relied on when he came to the goals, and I'm not surprised.
Important goals for them.
Yes, he scored a lot of Spurs' goals last season. I like the pass, I like the movement, and like I said initially, they've just taken advantage of that Burnley team. Burnley should be serious. They are not here to.
No, but the irony is that Burnley, I think they recorded historical defensive numbers in the championship.
At some point when they went 1,000 minutes without conceding.
Exactly.
Last season.
But this is not a championship. It's top flight of football.
3-0.
Scott Parker. As for Scott Parker, we know what he can do.
3-0 in the first game.
Was it Fulham? It was Fulham, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been here with Fulham and with Bournemouth too.
Place.
Or Bournemouth, where they were whooped by
9-0.
Yeah,
I think they got.
And then he went and said some very unsavory things and got fired in the aftermath.
The last time we saw Burnley play in the PL was when they came with when Company was coaching them, right? And came in very all expansive, and
got punished for it.
He went back to the abyss. They are back again. I expect that Parker, with all the PL experience he's had with the two teams, Bournemouth, Fulham, I expect them to do better. They looked easily carved open every time Spurs get a ball. Look at the goals, especially with the third goal. You probably consider the 2 goals from Kudus. Yeah, it was more of individual brilliance because the defense was a bit tight, but that third goal was too open for him. For me.
Let me read messages that have been coming in. Some have been coming in for quite a while. It was good afternoon, guys. Please tell the world that Chelsea is going to shock the whole world again by winning the Premier League and the Champions League. And please ask Coach for me, why is it that Obiba JK in our primary textbook hasn't taken the Ballon d'Or? Timotino from who is Obiba JK? I don't know who that is. Ayuba from Halilu says that I see my darling club Chelsea winning the league if Maresca can rectify our defensive issues before match day 10. I think we will win the double this season. Hey, Chelsea, yo. Anyway,
Is your team world champions?
Anyway, I'm guessing. It's good afternoon. Kobe Baden listening live from Dan Soma Sarah says, among all the Ghanaian born players who accepted to play for Ghana from foreign lands, arguably Semenyo is our biggest gain. I can agree to a large extent.
But you know what? He's been showing some decent club form for the Black Stars. He has not really.
Maybe it's because of the way your good friend.
It should be a system thing, but I've seen him training with the Black Stars. I don't think it's a problem of fitting. I think it's just getting the best out of him in the system.
I think we keep seeing it. He's good with his club, comes to the national team, not good, goes back to the club, then he lights up again.
So you until he begins to show us a bit more of his club form at national level, that is when you can make such conclusion. But we've seen him play for the Black Stars. I've really not enjoyed him. I've not enjoyed him play for the Black Stars.
The Black Stars, he comes and deals with a lot of factors.
Yes, I've not enjoyed. Maybe of course, coaching is one. I've always said that in the Black Stars we tend to use him very central.
Yeah,
we tend to use him very central. But if you look at the way he plays at Bournemouth, he's been given a free role to operate, and he plays normally as a right wing back, as a right winger.
Yeah,
because you see, he's very strong. One thing about Semenyo is that he's got proper physique. He's not the sort of player you can easily brush off the ball.
Yeah.
And technically, both feet, very ambidextrous.
Saw that yesterday.
Look at the goal he scored yesterday. I'm sure Konate and co were pushing him onto his left foot. They didn't believe he's got the quality to punish them using that foot. But by the time they realized, the ball was in the back of the net. That was a super goal by all standards. So we want to see. It is a pity that we'll not be seeing the Black Stars at the AFCON, because that would have been the perfect platform. The pitches in Morocco, absolutely brilliant.
Too sweet.
Very sweet, similar to what we have here. That would have allowed him to actually do his. Look at the Guardiola.
Richarlison has just been taking off, and from the look of it, it looks like it was a precautionary.
You don't want to risk that, especially when there is Solanke on the bench, a player who can easily do almost the same thing.
So very interesting change. They brought in Archie Gray. So it looks like they are coming to shut up shop.
So they've taken over Archie Gray and they brought on Solanke and Bentancur.
Okay, so that's what it looks like. Solanke, Bentancur on, Richarlison off. It doesn't look too happy.
I think you'd have wanted a hat trick now that he's on 2, but
I think it's probably precautionary. So
when is the last time he scored 2 goals in a game?
I just checked Johnson's numbers from last season, right? Last season in the PL, he did 11 goals, 5 assists.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a lot of really good. Just come on, there was a lot of being at the right place in the right time, smart finishes.
The Europa, he did 5 goals, 1 assist. Before last season, that's 2023-2024, he did 5 goals, just 5 goals. And the 2024-2025 was under Postecoglou. So that was one of his best seasons in 5 seasons. I hope he can replicate these numbers. If he's able to do this, Kudus does maybe 9, 10.
I mean, what did he do last season at Forest?
I'll have to check that. Okay. And then Solanke does... not Solanke,
Richarlison. Last season.
No. I'm saying the season before he came to Spurs when he was at Forest.
It wasn't that crazy, but it was decent.
I'll check those numbers. Kudus, that's Richarlison does about 10 goals. I think Spurs will be in a decent
place. They'll be fine. Anyway, let me read more messages. This one says, "Good afternoon, guys. Elisha from Ashaiman says, a Barcelona and Newcastle fan. I think Newcastle should have gone for Ekitike, knowing they will eventually lose Isak. But now we will have to deal with losing both."
I think that was the point where they could have
trying to.
They're trying to.
But he turned them down, went to Liverpool.
He says Gordon isn't a number 9, and I would prefer Joe Wellington in that position over him. Suraka from Nima says, I think the football bodies should create another tournament because Chelsea has won everything that's on earth. We Chelsea fans have already dominated the earth, so we need a trophy so we can win. So a new trophy. So we can win
for a Jupiter.
It's a galactic.
It says, "Good day, guys. I love Gabi analysis. Wow, very spot on. In Ketia too. The last guy to the first. That's Manuel Kwache. He's the new kid on the block. He says, keep up the good work, guys.
You forget the Portuguese name.
He says, we all know Arteta will win the league this season. City second. Klopp had a similar bump to overcome. If you guys would remember, the all for nothing remarks Klopp had until Liverpool won the league. Arsenal's consistency will see them finish first. Apache from Ashaiman Anfield. Interesting.
Charlie.
The thing is, Arteta is still thinking about digging.
He said go find gold.
You are digging
phase 5.
And the go-to is somewhere the 7th or 8th phase. That's where you see the gold. You should come for the people at the Galamsey site here to teach him how to dig.
Is it their phase 5? Anyway, this one says Kekeli says a person says he's blind, I think. I always listen to commentary on the PL on Citi because I don't have sight to watch on DSTV. Around this season, no commentary on PL on your channel. Wow, that's crazy. Says
you should keep hoping, keep praying.
Well, it's not about reconsidering. It's it's a big business decision. But like Coach said, keep hoping and keep praying. Who knows what will happen? Anyway, this one's from Kobe from Yendi.
Solanke is hot, Charlie. The guy has come to replace Richarlison, who has scored 2. Simple boy, should pass. He's forcing the 10. He's forcing the 10 to score.
I was just telling them that Solanke for 60 million is a travesty. Anyway, keep your messages coming. 0549 986 996 0549.
Charlie, but this guy he can't get some funny hype.
Solanke,
good season.
Yeah, good season. The season before Spurs made that big money.
But that's the thing. I've seen him at Liverpool and you've seen him at Chelsea. So the fact that someone paid 60 million.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
no, see, he's not a matured player. How old is he now? 26.
So his past is formative years.
Like he still has the youth feel.
I think he's like 27.
Yeah, I think he should be like 26, 27. At the time where he was at Liverpool, you see, I think he was there when Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane and co were there. And then look, there was no way
he's 27.
There you go. But right now, I think this is the right. But yesterday, last season, he had a very good season.
Yeah.
He was one of their renowned goal scorers in the league for Spurs on their way to winning.
He got 9.
He got 9.
He got 9 in the league.
Yes, but how many?
The season at Bournemouth before where he was going crazy.
I think he scored 2 in the league is not bad. He was just one from getting double figures.
Don't forget, Spurs finished 16, 17.
Yeah, so
that is a credit to him.
If you have to take
if he 3 of those 9 goals, they are relegated. You understand?
But if he also scores more goals, then they don't finish 17th. Or
you got the argument.
At the end of the day, it can go both ways. But at the end of the day, if you are looking at it very well,
the general context is that the team was not doing well.
The team didn't do well, and if the team fails to do well, you cannot hold him solely responsible.
Yeah.
He scored 9. Take 3 from 9, they are relegated.
Well, that's the lowdown. With regards to the
you see Thomas Frank.
Which will?
Sunderland.
Let's get to that game really quickly and give you an update from that particular match because, like Gabby rightly said, Sunderland are up by 2-0 in their game. Let me just quickly pull
Charlie,
that.
but Sunderland, they did some low-key signings people are not really talking
Let's talk about that real quick.
Granit Xhaka, Simon Adingra from Brighton, right?
Yeah, Adingra from Brighton.
Charlie. Wow. So Adingra with an assist, Mayenda getting the goals, and Ballard with the second. They've lost one of the players
for teams like that.
When you saw they got Granit Xhaka in?
No, I was
statements of intent.
No. If you look at the age,
you want to survive
at this moment. I think it's all about getting an experienced head among the young boys.
No, a
head that will calm everybody down.
I mean, Henderson too. If you
exactly.
Oh, they got Henderson as well.
Yes, they got No. I think he went to Brentford. He went to Brentford. But in Xhaka, look at what they done. They brought him. They made him captain of the team straight away.
Yep.
And that was a message sent to every player there that he has done it all. He's seen it all. He's very experienced, and you listen to him. So Xhaka may not just put in the team for playing sake, but he's playing and coaching them at the same time. He will get them to calm down when they need to under pressure, and he will tell them to up the tempo when the need arises. And I think he's that sort of player. He's always been in his game. I hope now that he's grown, that unnecessary yellow card, red card, because what he also cannot afford to do is to be of a disappointment to them when they need him, and he's not there because of the fact that he's been sent off and stuff like that. If he can calm his nerve. For a team like Sunderland, they don't intend to win the league. They don't even want European football.
But
all they want to do
is
to survive in the league.
Yep.
So if they survive in the league, they are successful. So the likes of Xhaka, Adingra, 1 or 2 other intelligent signings that they have done, just to ensure that they don't go down. Because don't forget, I think the 3 teams that got promoted last season all went down.
For the second season in a row.
And that's that will have to be. And from what we are seeing of Burnley, if we don't take care,
so they have McGui.
Yes,
they got him on from
yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but he's not starting today.
On loan, they brought him on loan, and for all you know,
I think they got Masuaku too. But
Arthur Masuaku, former Crystal Palace.
Yes. So if they can get all these experienced heads to come to terms with the demands of the EPL, then they are guaranteed that look, all they want to do is to stay out of that 3 relegated spot. Once they are out of there and they remain in the league, then they would have been successful.
Let me stay with you because I don't like what's happening in that game again with the opponent, West Ham United. Your good friend Graham Potter and Porter ball. This is how he's starting the campaign. I mean,
he's getting
a lot of excuses were made for him when the Chelsea going got tough and he got fired eventually. He's here. He's playing a 3-4-1-2 system. Very interesting. With hold on, let me give you experienced defenders. Jean-Claire Todibo, once upon a time. Man
United never went for him.
Is it Lopetegui's friend? You know, he had an issue with Haaland.
Yep. So they have Todibo, Kilman, and Agued. Wan-Bissaka as a right wing back, Diouf as a left wing back, Rodriguez, Guido, and Ward-Prowse are the holders. Then you have Paquetá in the number 10 row, Fulkrug and Bowen.
I think Paquetá wants to leave.
He does.
No. He says he's exploring his options.
Yeah, apparently that's what he said. Now that the charges are out, I think he's been cleared.
So now I think he had a move to Man City in the pipeline before the
charges came. That was from last season.
Man City will not go for him now because at the end of the day,
they went for Cherki.
They went for Cherki. They don't need him. They're very similar to him. So you know me. I don't trust Mr. Porter. I've never been a fan of Porter, and at the end of the day, his methods I don't think are that convincing. His methods are not the sort of methods that breeds confidence into his own playing body. Because at the end of the day, you need to get the players to believe in whatever you are telling them. That is where if they believe whatever you are telling them is practical and is a method that if they were to accept will get them to win games, they will accept it. At the end of the day, if you are playing a back three against a team like Sunderland, what most people don't get is that the back three transition to a back five is a tactical system that allows you most probably not to get beat, not to concede goals, because within if you have a back three and the two DMs, that technically is what a 5-7 defenders. Because the back three, the whole back five, they're all defenders. If you play with two extra midfielders, that makes it so. What does that is that they are accustomed to winning the ball back quick, and defensive line cover is guaranteed. And also with the back five system, what you normally would do is that when in the game of football, when you are being attacked and you have at least 5 out of the 10 outfield players behind the ball, as coaches we see that as a proper defensive cover, and there's enough men behind the ball to rescue the situation. So if you are playing against a very inexperienced Sunderland team, yes, they've gone for the likes of Xhaka and Co to help them with that calm heads and a bit of composure in such games. You should let it show. But look, I don't know, but there's Paquetá, there's Bowen, and there's these are established Premier League players. We know what these guys are capable of doing on their day. But I think Mr. Porter is still experimenting. He still thinks he's in preseason. Some of the teams, that is the way they are still thinking. They will use the first 5-6 games. You know, Pep is fond of doing that. He will use the first 5-6 games of the season to complete his preseason. Man City as a team themselves, they've not had good preseason. What most people are not talking about. Yesterday, it actually escaped me. Because after the World Club,
they've not looked good at all.
They've not looked good. How many games have they played? Only 1 or 2 games. Look at Chelsea. They played Milan. They played Leverkusen back to back in the space of 2 days. They had one set, rested. But in the case of Man City, after the World Club Championship, I stand to be corrected. I've seen them playing against only the Italian team.
And that game, the way they struggled, I think it was against Palermo.
Exactly. So somebody like Pep, I'm very certain that the first 5 games or 6 games will be the game that he will be using for preseason. But if you look at the way Liverpool have started, Spurs are winning. This league has become so competitive.
You cannot drop 1 point.
You cannot give people start.
Nope.
They are gone and that's it.
You play catch up the whole season.
What is the guarantee that when you meet them, you beat them to cancel out? Because if you give them any head start and you fail to beat them, the gap widens. And once that widens, it means that Charlie, you have to throw in the towel. So I believe, who is that?
Kudus.
I believe Mr. Porter will have to sit up, because look, he came in the middle of last season. The same argument I made for Ruben Amorim, I made the same argument for him. But I have seen him before. He didn't convince me when he was at Brighton. He didn't convince me when he was at Chelsea. I'm not sure he's going to do anything with this West Ham, because West Ham should not be losing against Sunderland.
Nope.
At all. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
So if you are losing again a team like Sunderland, next week who do they play? Let me know.
I'll pull that up for you.
If you were to get beat again,
that's already 6 points in deficit.
0 out of 6.
Yeah.
You cannot do that.
Let me just get that for you real quick.
Just on the Sunderland point of view, I think it's an interesting strategy, because most teams, when they club, what they trust is that because the team did so well last season and they're in good form, they can make the step up to another division. And what they decided is they're not
Burnley.
Yeah, they're not even going.
West Ham played Burnley.
No, Sunderland take on Burnley.
Oh, that's a delicious game.
Yeah, so. But yeah, most teams just rely on the team that come up. But I think they've just ripped their squad apart and decided that we're going to buy players who are ready to play at this level and hope that they can gel and work in time. And to be fair to them, most of the teams have actually outspent. Because if you remember, I think when Forest came up, they spent a lot of money to.
Yep.
Fulham to have come up. Fulham came up some time back and spent a lot of money.
They blew money on a whole new, they bought like 20 new players and went down that same season. That's the season they bought Andre Serra and Jean-Michel Seri and all those guys. They went back down that same season. Was
Zambo Giza part of it?
He was part. He was part. They went down that season. It was hilarious.
No, so sometimes it doesn't work. But I think you've seen with people like Aston Villa. When Aston Villa came up, they spent a lot of money. You saw it with Forest. They also brought in about 20 players and they had 2 different teams, and they were talking a lot about getting the right team. But if you can get it right, get the quality right, I think it gives you a good chance of staying up. Because just trusting that. But trusting that players can just make the step up when they get promoted back to the Premier League. It's not always a given for some of the teams.
Just let me just take quick thoughts on a few players within the West Ham team, and then we can move it on. So interesting, they have Callum Wilson now from Newcastle. He has made the move. I don't know how good you think he will be. Just touch on. I'll take thoughts from both of you. Touch on him and Fullback as attacking options, because Fullback barely had a chance to prove himself last season. Spent a lot of it injured after making his big money move from Dortmund. Just quick thoughts on that.
I mean, just based on the way Potter tries to play, I always wondered when they make the switch, because I think when he came in was under Lopetegui. Yeah, and then he made the switch to Potter. So based on how Potter wants to play his football, I was wondering how he would be able to fit him in. I think pre-season he's been okay. I think he scored a couple of goals, so it looks like it could come good. But just on that, I think they are just hoping that Wilson's fitness is... Fullback is a solid... Not like a solid backup, but like if Wilson can stay fit, I think Wilson is the better striker. And Wilson will start. It's just a matter of whether, given his injury record, whether he can manage to stay fit throughout the whole season. And also, I think Fullback also offers them a different option. He's a slightly more physical presence in the box. So if they need to switch from the football, if they need to put more crosses into the box, I think he's someone that they can bring on. So in terms of... I don't know if they are the best 2 options he can have, but if these are the 2 options he has, I think there are ways in which he can fit them around the team. And they have some interesting wingers too. Like Somerville is still there.
Yep.
If Paqueta
Somerville has been extremely underwhelming.
Callum Wilson is playing today.
Yeah. So
Crescencio Somerville, extremely
Callum Wilson and
I think that boy, his confidence was completely destroyed by Lopetegui, because we all saw
he was good at Leeds.
He was very good at Leeds. He was one of those players that, as a coach, you will hope will get on the ball and make things happen for you. He came to West Ham. We all thought that he would be on the left, Kudus on the right. Then all of a sudden, Lopetegui swapped the 2 of them, and he was just confused, man.
That match just messed up the dressing room.
Yeah,
the fallout with a lot of these players, I think, contributed to West Ham struggles before so the ship had already sunk. Graham Potter would only come and do what he had to do, and they've managed to escape. I think at this point they were even part of the relegation talk. When they brought in Potter, I think he won about 4 out of 6 games. And then they also capitulated a bit later. I just realized that I was just checking the Callum Wilson is 32, Nicholas Fullback is 33. Combined ages of 65 years.
Then he may, you remember there was some time ago the Chelsea backline or almost Thiago Silva.
It was almost 98. I remember.
No, it was 106. That's possible. You remember? It was 106.
It was
they had Aspilicueta.
39.
Aspi
38. Those two
Aspi is not 38. Check. Aspi is not 38. But Aspi said, when Aspi moved out Atletico, what was his age?
I don't even think he's 38 now.
Don't check. I think he was 35, 36.
He was old.
40. It got to the time Thiago Silva 40. 40 plus 36.
Oh no, he was 40 this year.
I told you, was it?
Yeah, it was Rudiger. Rudiger was at the time, I think he was 30. Or 20, I think in his late 2020 now.
So look, you 30. You are in the 30. It's not, isn't it 90? Add Thiago Silva 10 to it. Is it not 100? If you add this, that's 106. You remember we did this program on Soccer. So 106 years. They couldn't run. And today this man transferred the crew.
So Coach Aspi is 35 now.
Yeah.
So at the time he was because he moved to Chelsea. I think it's about 2 or 3 seasons now. He went to Atletico Madrid, right?
So by the time
he was 32 at the time.
So if you add,
so he moved in 2023 to Atletico.
So 32 plus 40. Let's take
that's
30. Let's assume you
okay. So that's 90 years.
At Thiago Silva 10 to 100. I 106.
No, but Thiago Silva is 40 this year.
No, he's more than 40. Man, he's a Brazilian player.
But is it the points I want to make about Callum Wilson and Nicholas Fulkrug is that I think of the two, if I were to be in Potter's shoes, I think I'll go with Callum Wilson. That's if he stays fit.
Yeah.
Because I think he's more of a finished product, or he gives you more quality finish than Fulkrug. And that's not to like disrespect him, but I look at player again with
he's also more mobile.
That's Fulkrug, yeah.
No, I mean Wilson.
Wilson.
Wilson. His only problem is like
staying fit. Yes, and he comes here with PL experience.
He's bent on going to Tottenham. Man.
Yeah, it looks like
that. It looks like he will go.
He's told the people.
Yeah, he's been left out of this week's game squad.
He's told them.
Yeah, he will go. So it's a lot happening. I think we are in time added on. It's 3 minutes of time added on for Spurs and Burnley.
Some report from Simon Stone that says that Brighton are still proving stubborn. But don't worry.
I don't think you have
actually
for Baleba.
Yes. The reports I am getting is that United will want to test Brighton's resolve right up until deadline day.
Until deadline day
to see if they will crack. You know, these things. What these things do is that I think United are trying to unsettle Baleba. That's what they are trying to do.
More than Jonah. He's working in the game.
They will keep putting things in the press. Man United believe Baleba is the key to the puzzle. Man United believe, but what those things do is that they begin to mess with the player's head. And then he will tell his agent that, you know what, I don't think I'm in the right frame of mind. I want to sit and decide. I think that's what United is trying to do.
But you've seen with Isak that if the club is bent on not selling you, because the thing is Brighton will also need a replacement now.
That's why they should sell him now. Go and buy their replacement.
The longer it takes. No, but that's the thing. A lot of teams have solidified their plans already into the season. So if you're
that's what I'm saying. Like, the way Brighton are run, I don't think they're the type of team that would like to wait a week to the transfer window is about to end to now go and look for a replacement. If they were going for a replacement, they've already signed him in the first 2-3 weeks of the summer.
Your problem is you don't want the player to come home. That is your main problem. when they sold Casedo, was it not 2-3 days they went and brought Baleba? They should do the same and collect the money and go and bring another player.
But that's what you're saying. Like, you see, the moment you collect 120 million for a player, all the other teams you want to buy players from begin to pocket watch you. And they say that you collected 120 million and paid
almost, how much did they pay for Baleba? They 30 something.
And that's what I'm saying. Even then, that would be slightly over the value because people know that they have money now.
Baleba should have been way cheaper.
From where they were buying Baleba from, he should have been much cheaper.
So the Spurs game is over.
Yes, so Richarlison and Brennan Johnson, a brace and 1 goal for Johnson. That's how it's ended. 3 there. Also, Kudus starts life in the league with Spurs. 3 points, 3 goals, clean sheet, 2 assists. Quite the outing for the Ghanaian. Looks like he's doing some catching up with one of the young men there from Burnley. I didn't see exactly who he was. Looks like one of those Ajax prospects. Anyway, I'll probably get to that a little later. But let me just quickly do a zip around the other matches that have been played as well. Those are coming to an end. We'll be getting into a preview of Wolves versus Manchester City in a bit.
What is the name? Ederson may leave Man City.
Yeah, they're selling. They are really bent on buying Donnarumma.
I think is it Galatasaray the one?
And they are really selling him for cheap. Like they're almost giving him away for free. very interesting there. So, Brighton versus Fulham is in the 95th minute. It's still that penalty goal scored. That's what Brighton is hanging on to. Sunderland are 3-0 up against West Ham United. West Ham United, oh my goodness, Graham Potter. So Isidore has scored 90 plus 2. That's what's going on. Sunderland, this is a dream return to the top flight
after
for them.
8 years.
I don't think the Stadium of Light expected to see 3 goals and 3 points on its.
Every
return to
time
the league,
I
but-
see or read Stadium of Light, you know one Ghanaian player that comes to mind.
Asamoah. Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Baby.
I know. Asamoah and Darren Bent. That was quite the that was quite the era. So Sunderland winning big on match day 1. I think that's a huge win for them. Earlier on, early kickoff had Aston Villa versus Newcastle United. That game ended goalless, very drab game. As Konsa getting sent off as well in that game. So already the league is shaping up very, very nicely. More messages from YouTube. Some also coming through from our message box. 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You are listening to the Republic of Football here on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live on YouTube and also live on X or Twitter. Let me get into some other stuff as well. Let's get into that Manchester City versus Wolves game in a bit, and then we will tie it all up somewhere around 5 p.m. So there's the big game between Man City and Wolves coming up. That game, I believe, is at 4:30. Now, Manchester City, let's start off the discussion. Coach, Rodri was supposed to have been ready for the start of the new campaign. That has not materialized. He's experienced a setback in his recovery process. That means that they will probably go into this game with a lineup that Pep probably doesn't like. And the Club World Cup exposed them greatly as well. They were dumped out by Saudi side Al Hilal. So new signings in pillar of the midfield or the pillar of the team still out of the squad. I think you put them second, third in your projections. How so? How do you expect them to start the? You've already given us your initial thoughts by saying you think their first 5 games will be preseason. Now look at the first 5 games they have. So they have Wolves today, then they play Spurs, then they play Brighton, then they play United and Arsenal back to back. So they play Spurs, United and Arsenal in their first 5 matches.
If they are able to navigate that, then without a doubt,
which you consider them contenders,
they will be seriously looked at by the rest of the league. But having said that, I still do maintain they can't replace Rodri. Yeah, I know they've brought some other guys to try and complement whatever the guys will do there. I'm hearing Rico Lewis himself is telling Pep Guardiola that he wants to go to Nottingham Forest. Because these boys think that they've grown a lot, they've played a lot. It's time for them to command that regular spot in the team. If
it doesn't happen, they'll stagnate.
Exactly. So he wants to go. I think they've sold one of their very good talent. What is his name? McAtee.
Yep.
Yeah, McAtee.
Yep. Very good player.
They've sold him. Against this Wolverhampton team, naturally, you say you expect Man City to go out there and win. But anytime they've gone there are times where they've had some very, very difficult games.
Yeah.
I remember was it last season? It took Rodri last minute for him to win the game. The season before, to win the game for them.
Yep.
Very difficult game, 1-1 throughout. The Wolverhampton themselves are without their best player. Their best player has left. He's gone to Manchester United. So at the end of the day, that's a huge
rubbing
gap.
the salt in.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we all knew the importance of Matthias Cunha to that team. He made them take, especially in the offensive third. They took the money. Have they replaced him? I don't think so. So Man City may look at this and say, look, this is a perfect preseason game where we can use it to warm ourselves up. Because our next 4 games, 3 of them will be against teams that we expect to compete with us for the league.
So let me give you an update on what Wolves have done.
That's right.
So player movements, players out. Pablo Sarabia, he's headed to Al Arabi. Okay. Mateus Cunha, Manchester United. Craig Dawson, free agent. Carlos Forbes, he was on loan from Ajax, he's gone back. Matty Whittingham has been released, he's a free agent. Ryan Aït-Nouri sold to Manchester City. Hugo Bueno, he's headed on loan to Feyenoord. Fer Lopez, brought in from Celta Vigo. Shem Campbell, brought in from Stevenage. Strand Larsen, also I believe has come in from Celta Vigo. I think he was a loan and has made permanent. And then you have Tommy Doyle, Chiquinho, and Nigel Lodgewick. So not a lot of standout reinforcement. John Arias. So John Arias, I believe, competed in the Club World Cup for
Fluminense.
Fluminense, yes, did pretty well. A couple of big teams were chasing him, but he managed to make it to Wolves.
Just another update. So Murray Hutchinson has signed for Nottingham Forest.
Yes. I saw that's about 40 million or so. But it's a lot of money for somebody like that. Again, that's what I keep talking about. Players like Forest blowing money on players like that when you can go to South America and get somebody for quarter of that price. Maybe they don't want to go through the players' adaptation process, but I don't side with teams like that spending that kind of money. But the Wolves reinforcements have definitely not been encouraging. Coach, is this that type of game? Like you said, they even have how do you call it, Ryan Aït-Nouri from their team playing for Manchester City in this game.
And these were players who were very, very, very instrumental in whatever they used to do. So I'm not convinced about them. I've not watched them. I've not been followed their pre-season, and if I can only judge them based on the quality they've lost and what they've brought in. Clearly, you can see the vast difference in the quality of the players they brought from those that left. So they are playing against Man City. I think this is the right time to play against Man City, because Man City themselves, like I've already established, will be using this as a pre-season game. Because after the Club World Cup, the players were given, I think, 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off, they came back. They've had only one proper pre-season game, and that, in my view, is going to tell. Because as a footballer, if a footballer sits and not play competitive game for even 2 weeks, when he comes back,
slightly rusty.
In fact, it's why I think Villarreal are playing party peripheral minutes now. 10 minutes, 15 minutes
after some time,
because his fitness is suspect.
Exactly, they are building his fitness. And so at the end of the day, if you're Man City, you have to be worried. I think the best for Wolverhampton tactically will not be to go toe-to-toe, but will be to play the game at a certain pace when they get the ball. Force Man City to recover the ball when they don't want to. Because we all know the intensity of the EPL. Every team, look at the game we watched yesterday. After some 60, 70 minutes, we saw the tempo drop. Look at the game we've watched today. Almost every game, after 60, 70 minutes, the intensity dropped.
You can tell the teams are not fit.
Their hearts are still getting to adjust to the intensity of the game. So this is the best time to play against Man City.
Maybe apart from Chelsea.
No, come on, man. We've not seen them yet. Don't worry. Tomorrow they are playing against Crystal Palace. It's a very, very difficult game. You see, Chelsea, congratulations to them. They've done so well of late. But hey, be careful you don't bite more than you can chew. So at the end of the day, if you raise the bar, we don't want anybody to say, oh, we don't want the league title. Oh, we are not league. Oh, you are playing to win the league. Now you are world champion.
Everybody has started on the
same foot.
Yes.
So nobody should be running away when things are happening. I have said, I think they will start the season very well. But they will choke. After the first round, they will definitely burn out. And that may be their own undoing. But I expect them to qualify for top 4. So look, I want to see what Pep will do. In Tijani, I mean, off-season, he's been very brilliant. He's scored some very good goals from midfield. Like I established yesterday, I don't think anybody in this team has got the quality to feed Erling Haaland the way Kevin De Bruyne used to, or the way he would have done. there's nobody. The other players who always want to take that extra touch. This is the Semenyo goal. Absolute brilliant from the Ghanaian. Oh,
look at him, left, right.
Sumptuous.
He had them in a sprint cycle.
This is what you call sumptuous. Oh, Chaluba. Look at the celebration.
Look at Konate spinning.
Oh, look at it.
Charlie, get this guy out of my team.
Was he blocking the shot?
Get this guy out of my team.
Look at Konate.
What? Man, that's some shameful defending. I don't even know what to say to that. Come on, man. Yeah,
I'm happy for this guy.
This guy wants to be here, man.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Look at that celebration.
If he can stay fit.
Yeah.
Hey.
But guys, have you guys paid attention to where Salah ran from?
Charlie, he was very desperate for a goal today. Yeah, I think he had a pretty average day.
Yeah,
and so he was like, I need to make something happen. He
tend to score every opening game.
Yeah, that's actually very important.
He's only missed one opening game.
He's done 10. He's done 10, right?
Yeah, 10 goals, but I think he's only missed one opening day game on opening day where he didn't score.
Imagine. So yesterday he was not trying to spoil that record.
No,
it was very important that he got his goal.
So far, this man is the favorite. The Lord is my Baba man in the world.
He has a lot of pressure on him as well because, like everybody said,
I like the suit though. He's.
Last season he was dressing
very casually.
Championship, it's championship metal. It comes with championship DNA,
Of course.
When you win a title, must dress the part. That's what it is.
Now he's the champion he's the champion.
He's the guy to beat now. So lots of pressure on Anderson. We'll try to see if we can hear from him a little later on in action. But let me get to more talk of Manchester City. Let's talk about the signings that they brought in and the changes that they made to their team. Coach Bradley tried to touch on the goalkeeper situation, but there's definitely more to look at the departures. So departure number one, heavy, Kevin De Bruyne off to Napoli. Jacob Wright, I believe, is one of their academy products, off to Norwich City. Scott Carson, the goalkeeper, very old guy, released I think like 40 years or probably more. He's also gone. Ryan Ainuri to Wolves. Marcus Bettinelli, goalkeeper, I believe, to Chelsea. And then Ryan Cherki. Bettinelli came in from Chelsea. Yes. Sorry. And then Ryan Cherki coming in from Olympic Lyonnais. Tijani Reinders from AC Milan. He's one I'm very interested in watching. Kaiki, they sold out to Bahia. Kyle Walker to Burnley. Divin Mubama, one of their up and coming prospect, he's been loaned out to Stoke. And then you can talk about James Trafford. They brought in James Trafford.
He's starting today
from Burnley. Yep, he's in post for them. And then you can also talk about Maxime Perrone, the Argentine international. They sold him to Como. That's very shocking. That guy is very talented.
Brighton drew the game.
Looks like we need to get an update on that. So we'll get an update on that. We'll round up the games that are finished in a bit, but let me just get through that Manchester City list. So that's what's happening to Man City. We'll come back to that in a bit. Let me finish off with the 2 p.m. games that have ended. Coach, let me stay with you on that tangent because you gave us the update. Fulham looks like they ended that game 1-1. Let me get Mooney's 96th minute.
I thought they were selling him.
Rodrigo.
I hear he's going to Atlanta, or the move didn't materialize.
Well, I think it will be dependent on Atalanta selling Lookman. Inter Milan want to buy Lookman. There's a standoff in that. I think if they let him go, they probably activate their interest in this young man. Look, he was a very good finisher last season.
He's a good player. I don't know. He's a very one thing I like about him is his ability to protect the ball.
Yeah.
He's big. He will always make the defenders uncomfortable. I like bulldozer strikers like that. Strikers who more or less give you a replica.
He has a decent touch too for a big guy.
Yeah, strikers who give you that class of touch when it comes to the physical aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Didier Drogba, George Weah, we saw them Anthony Yeboah during his days.
Yeah.
These were very, very strong guys. When even with their back to goal, they're able to protect them, and that is one of Muniz's strongest weapon. He's a decent finisher too. Unfortunately, when Michael Silva recruited the former Wolves boy, the one from Mexico, the one who had the injury, Raul Jimenez, then Muniz's playing time got reduced. And for me, I would have chosen him, or I would choose him ahead of Jimenez all day because Jimenez since that terrible injury
he's not been the same.
He's been really good.
No, it was last season was his revival.
Yeah, and then I think he won the Gold Cup with Mexico. I think he scored 2 goals. Yeah, he's actually come back to form quite well.
Okay, but
for the longest time he was. I get what you mean. He was off color.
Yeah, it's like I've hit double figures last season.
He was not winning the balls in the air always because if I'm the coach of the opposing team, I'm getting my defenders to get into that head quick. See whether his brain cells.
Coach,
it's part of the coaching.
No, you don't want to have any unfortunate.
No, it's not unfortunate.
Last season,
if you have a problem, go and sit
that
down.
issue he had with the head.
That's crazy. Last season he played every single match.
That's what I'm saying.
38 matches, 12 goals, 3 assists.
Moniz is not happy. That's why he wants to. I wasn't expecting. No wonder. If you could check when they brought him on, Moniz, I think he just came and then trying to rescue the game for them.
Yep.
But like I'm saying, I'm happy for Jimenez. Don't get me wrong. When the player sustains such major career-threatening injury and is able to come back from them, it will take some time for them to forget about.
Because in the same, if you remember, Ryan Mason had that injury when I think Chelsea were playing Hull, and he had to retire immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So for me, it's good, but I'm shocked Brighton didn't win it. Look, we all saw
Brighton looked very flat.
Yeah, we all saw Baleba. He should get on the ball and up the tempo. He's walking in the game, telling the people, look at my body language. Let me go home. Let me go home. Let me go home. You are still proving stubborn. Let me go home. Let me go. We were watching the game. Baleba, you know, is that the Baleba you saw today? Let's be honest. We're watching the game. The man is not mobile. He's not stamping. He's not dominating. He's telling them, look at me, I'm not happy. Let me go, please. I won't force the move, but you have to accept that I have to go home. Still, the people are writing, they say they won't see. They should force him to play. They will get here is 100 million. Come and take free and let him go. You are being stubborn. Yeah. So I'm not surprised they drew the game, to be honest with you.
So Muniz came on for Jimenez actually in the 66th minute.
Yes.
In this particular game. And yes, he rightly managed to get them the all-important goal that has given them 1 point at least from opening day. Now he last season played 31 matches, scored 8 goals and 1 assist, but the 31 matches is deceptive because a lot of those were performances off the bench.
Yes.
So to say he played full 31 matches is a little
he was
deceptive.
coming in like he did, coming to replace.
Let's take a quick breather here on the Republic of Football. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get fully into that Manchester City game, and then we will preview the action in Spain. Barcelona, Real Madrid. Thomas Partey played his debut for Villarreal. There's a lot to talk about on the show. Stay with us here on the show. Let's get to a quick break. We'll come back and then we'll do some more talking. better. Let me start with you, Manuel, on Manchester City rebuilding from the ashes of what was last season. It was a season that would have been considered decent by a lot of other clubs, but by their own standards, it clearly wasn't good enough. They've gone ahead to make some changes to their team. I tried to capture a few of the additions to the squad, most notably James Trafford. You can talk about Tijani Reinders, Ryan Sheki, and then Ryan Aït-Nouri.
Just on that, I think it's also important to mention the players that they brought in January.
Okay.
Because they spent, I think, about 200 million to this rebuild. Like
so Kuzanov,
Mamouche,
and then Nico Gonzalez.
And there was one more, but the Brazilian defender, I think. But yeah, they just on Pep, I think it's interesting to see what he does with this season, because this is the longest he's ever spent at a football club.
Yeah.
Much longer than the time he spent at Bayern and Barcelona. And I think unfairly, I thought he had not rebuilt the squad. But if you look at the squad he started with, from David Silva to Fernandinho and how to call it, when he had Clichy and Sanya in the team initially as his fullbacks, he's been able to grow that team and start another team from that. So I think you can talk about maybe David Silva's team and you can talk about Rodri's team. And I think now he's in a point where he has to actually rebuild the squad again. And for me, it started in January. Because if you look at the way City were performing, I think they thought that with the squad that they had, they thought that at least 2 more seasons they could go with that squad. By January, he realized that he could not work with Kyle Walker and a few other players, so he started making changes to the team. So now seeing the type of players that he's brought in is interesting. I think it's there's been a lot of reliance on youth, if I can say, not necessarily youth, but in terms of unproven yet. Maybe you can say maybe Reinders is maybe the most established. Yeah, but most of them are young players that he's now integrating into the team. And for me, that's slightly different from what Guardiola usually does when he's recruiting. So, yeah, that's what he usually does when Guardiola when he's recruiting. So I think it will just be interesting to see if what he can do with this rebuild of the squad with these new players. If he can, because I think Mourinho was experiencing this problem. I don't know if it's the same problem. Mourinho experienced this problem where he realized that the modern player is less interested in some of the things you have to say and this discipline and this being pressured, and they just want to go out there and express themselves. And I've seen it with certain players, like even with when Grealish came in and he tried to put him on the left wing, and not every player is like as comfortable with this tactical discipline and being like trying to fit within Guardiola's system. And obviously with your success, with the more you achieve, the more you get players to listen to you. But I think the more and more the modern players are going, I think they're finding it hard to maintain that discipline that you need to be a proper Guardiola player. And also on the counter side, I think you see the effect it has on him when things aren't going well. If you remember last season, there was a point where he could come out with
Since I want to hurt myself, I'm not even sure what that means, man.
Yeah, I know, but that's exactly. Like there's the mental toll it takes on himself when things are not going well, and the pressure he puts on himself for things to go well. I just think it would be interesting to see this season now with this new squad, because this is if you look at this team, like compared to the team that won the league with, I don't think any of these players won the league with David Silva.
So look at that midfield. So the midfield today is Nico Gonzalez holding, Bernardo Silva on one side and Reinders on the other side.
Major. This Man City team don't put fear in any opposition.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why I mean, like player by player.
No,
when
I
you
think
look
the
at
fear
them,
factor is gone, and I'm surprised. There's no Mamouche in the setup.
Nope.
I'm very, very shocked. I think that he's one of the untouchables in this team. Maybe Pep is a bit worried.
Has he attained that status already?
Of course.
Or it's a circumstantial thing?
No, if you look at what he did when he came into the team, when the team was struggling last season, he virtually propelled them to Champions League. And if you look at the fact that he's one player who walked in and got everybody to understand that he's indeed a very good player, justify why he was bought. One would have thought that having done that from January to now, when a new season is about to start, you look at him and say, come on, because of what you showed to me, you got to start. He's on the bench.
Yeah. So the lineups are out there. Let me just read them out, and then I'll come to you for context. So, for Manchester City, Trafford is in post, like I mentioned. New goalkeeper, new season. Ryan Ainuri, new left back, new season. Diaz and Stones are used to this setup. Rico Lewis wants out, but he will start today regardless. Nico Gonzalez and Tijani Reinders are the holding midfielders. Jeremy Doku starts on his favorite left wing. Bernardo Silva, the number 10. Oscar Bob, who looked like he was ready for a breakout season, but ended up breaking his leg or suffering a season-ending injury, is back starting today on the right wing. Looks like an inverted winger to me. And then there's Erling Haaland leading the line. When you get to Wolves, they are doing a 3-back system. So Jose Sa is in post. Doherty, Agbadu, and Gomez are the defenders.
He's trying to join the club.
Joe Hart.
That's why I found it funny with Lescott sitting there just beaming with him.
You know the funny thing? I was really hurt when Pep Guardiola pushed Joe Hart out of the team. He was one of the best goalkeepers in the world at the time. But he couldn't play with his feet. They shipped him out. I think he went to Italy or something, and then his career just started deteriorating. Anyway, 3 back for them: Gomez, Agbadu, and Doherty. Wolfer, Andre, and Gomez. So Andre and Gomez, the Brazilian central midfielders in the heart of the midfield for Wolves. Those two guys are very underrated in my opinion. They have Hoover playing as a right wing back, Bellegarde, Strand Larsen, and Munetsi. And that's how it plays out. When you get to Manchester, they have done that already. So the bench, like Coach rightly mentioned, they have Ake, Mamouche, and Sheki, Ortega, Gundogan, Nunez, Nico O'Reilly, and Kuzanov. Not a bad bench, but not
I see what he means by the team is a bit.
The team is light.
This team light, but fear in anybody.
It's light, but I think he also needs to move a few players out because there are too many players.
Who are they going to bring in to make them world class?
No, not bringing. I think he wants to reduce his squad size.
I think at least minimum 25 is okay, because if you want to play in the league champions, you have 25 players. That's okay.
But
if you look at the lineup, if you look at the lineup there, you see over the years we've seen better, more fearful Man City team. That before the game starts, you look at these guys and you're, come on, man, we don't stand any chance against these guys. Mention those there: the De Bruyne on form, Bernardo Silva on form, Kun Aguero on form, Erling Haaland on form. You see, they were Mahrez. Mention them.
Yeah, I think
Rodri,
City,
of course.
City are trying to move away from spending money on certain, like the top level players. They don't overspend, so they end up spending like 50
on prospects,
on players, rather than getting the top.
They started out with buying Vardio for big money,
50,
bought Kuzanov for big money.
50 is a lot of money. 50 million pounds.
I agree.
It's a lot of money. You don't just spend 50 million pounds on an average player.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't do that. If you look at what he's done there, how I wish these guys would be playing Manchester or Liverpool or somebody today. They get a minimum of 4.
No, in fact, Wolves, I believe, Wolves to actually test.
Yeah, they'll have to test them, because at the end of the day, we all know John Stones is a good player when he's on form. Injury has not permitted him to grow into that central figure of a defender, very dominating.
Because he was going to be that guy a couple of seasons ago.
But injury just didn't allow him to. He's a good player on his day. He's good. And then there's lack of genuine pace. This is one thing that Kyle Walker always build them out of. If you look at that back line, there's no solid pace in that back line.
I know he's decent. He's not the quickest.
He's not the quickest.
Rico Lewis, probably
for him, decent, but he can easily be manhandled because of his size. Brush him off. You see, one thing that I would never compromise: if I'm using a defender, you should be of a certain size, and you should have genuine pace. I think this game is going to be a difficult game if Wolverhampton themselves will believe that they've got what it takes to match these guys.
The last encounter should let them believe.
Exactly. But the problem here is that in the last encounter, they had Matthias Cunha. They had Semenyo. They had some good experienced international players who could get on the ball and push these guys through. This midfield of Gonzalez and then Tijani, look, they don't put fear in anybody. This is not the Rodri midfield. I'm not saying they are not good players, but I'm looking at where they were as a team,
and where they
are now, the class, the difference in quality.
I think if you make a few changes, if Rodri plays instead of Gonzalez and now it's Rodri, Silva, Reinders.
Now Rodri said we don't know when he's coming back, so you don't
even know if he will be the same.
He will be the same player when he because the ACL injury. Nobody boot him or nobody kicked him.
And then to have a setback,
he was just running, and to have a setback again, it means he will need a minimum of 2 to 3 months to fix it and fix it well. Normally, with the ACL, when you come, there's a setback. If you are not patient, I think they were very patient with it. He sat out the whole season.
Yep.
Okay, so I would have thought that this setback is truly on it. But Pep himself, with all his experience, should know that the young man needs a better support. Gonzalez came into the team and he didn't prove to be that proper replacement.